You know, over the past 2 years that I've been making videos and putting them up on YouTube, I think I might have done a few tri-tips. I'm doing tri-tip. I'm making tri-tip sandwiches today. I need the coals to cook my tri-tip. Tri-tip is my favorite thing to cook. Tender, delicious tri-tip. I'm gonna be smoking a tri-tip, smoked tri-tip sliders. Smoked tri-tip, but I've never done a Wagyu tri-tip. That changes today. Before we get to this Wagyu tri-tip, need to make a simple rub. 3 ingredients: salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. Starting with 1½ teaspoons of kosher salt, 1½ teaspoons of cracked black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic. I'm gonna put my lid on and shake. That's it. Let's get our tri-tip out here. So here is our tri-tip. It's about 2 pounds, which is really at the lower end of what I'm used to smoking. So this really isn't gonna take very long today. Now this tri-tip was sent to me by Wagyu, which is a family-run ranch in Texas. All their beef is pasture-raised, hormone-free. They dry age it for 21 days. And I'm really glad they've sent me this tri-tip. They've sent me some other things. If you wanna check them out, I'm putting a link in the description below. And if you do go there and if you buy anything, use the coupon code CWR. That will get you 20% off your order. And now let's get to seasoning up this tri-tip. I want to give it a good coating of this very simple rub. There's just such beautiful marbling in this tri-tip. I've done every kind of tri-tip there is. Prime, choice, select, some that don't have any grading. So this is going to be an interesting thing to do and a real treat. Turn this over, get our backside. One of the other interesting things I noticed about this Wagyu tri-tip is I usually do a little extra trimming. I don't usually show it because it's kind of boring. You're just trimming off a little bit of extra fat. And there was something about this, it trimmed up very easily. I don't know if that's something to do with the fat layer, the connective tissue releasing off the meat. I'm not sure, but it just trimmed up really easily. Make sure I get these ends here. This rub is meant to be simple because I really want the flavor of the beef to come through. All of the Wagyu that I've had from Wagyu has such a rich beef flavor. I've had Wagyu beef before in restaurants and the same thing. You get a very deep beefy flavor. So I don't want to overwhelm it with spices. I just want to add the things that help bring out that flavor, the salt, the pepper, and a little bit of granulated garlic. So this is ready. Let's get it out to the Weber Kettle. I want to get my temperature probe into this Wagyu tri-tip before I get it on the grill, just so I can try and make sure I have the right spot. Looks like we're showing about 42, maybe 43 degrees. That's pretty close. Just came out of the refrigerator, which was about 38 degrees. So it's been sitting out for about 10 minutes. Let's get this on the Weber Kettle. So I have the Weber Kettle set up with the vortex about half full, some foil in there to catch some drippings. Now I suspect because of the size of this tri-tip, it's not going to take too long, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. So I want to get some post oak on to try and get a little bit of smoke flavor in here in the short amount of time we have. All right, our post oak is just starting to catch. Let's get our lid on so we can start smoking. Now the top vent of my Weber is set at just around a half, maybe a little below half. And my bottom vent is set at the 1/3 open mark. So I want to try and keep the Weber somewhere in the 275 range. I'll monitor the temp, adjust the vents as I need to, but like I said, I doubt this is going to be a very long cook. And I really do not want to overcook this Wagyu tri-tip. I'm going to be doing my 110 sear method today, which is at 110 degrees internal. We're going to take that tri-tip, remove the temperature probe, and then sear it quickly on both sides, then return it to the indirect side to finish to an ultimate temperature of 130 degrees. So I'll see you back here when we get close to that 110 degrees. All right, we are right about 110 internal. It is time to sear this tri-tip. Good looking color on this. All right, let me get my internal temperature probe out. We're going to give this tri-tip a little more color here. Just a minute or two on each side. It already has just a beautiful color on there. Once we finish searing it, I'm going to check it with the Thermapen and see really how close we are after that to that 130 finish temperature. This tri-tip has perfect shape. It is the quintessential tri-tip. Looking good, just want a little bit of color. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move this indirect again. Let's give a check with the Thermapen. Try and go dead center here. And we're showing 118, 117. So we've got about 13 degrees to go. All right, I'm gonna get my lid back on. We're gonna go for 5 minutes and then we'll check it again. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Let's see where we're at. Try and get in the same spot here. We are at 129. I'm gonna call that close enough. We're gonna get this off here, get it inside, tent it with foil, let it rest for a few minutes. We're gonna make an optional little drizzle sauce for it. Yes, I said an optional little drizzle sauce. This isn't gonna need any sauce, I can guarantee that, but sometimes you want a little bit of extra flavor there. I'm definitely gonna taste it without any sauce, but I always like to have something available. So we're starting first with 2 teaspoons of a prepared horseradish, 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, that might have gotten a little extra splash, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Just gonna mix this up. Horseradish goes great with beef, balsamic goes great with beef. Olive oil is a great base for a lot of drizzle sauces. Take a little taste here. Oh, yeah, that's good. But let's get the star of the show out here. We have our grain running this way in this section. On tri-tips, the grain can really twist. You can go like this and then like this. But right here, I can see going like that. So I'm gonna take my knife and go right here. Oh yes. That is what I'm talking about. Wow. Perfect medium rare here. Look at that. I'm gonna cut a couple slices to prepare for tasting. I'm gonna try and get them thin here. Oh, look at that. Extremely juicy. Oh, brother, look at that. Wow. That's really good looking tri-tip, let me tell you. As I said, I've cooked a lot of tri-tip, not just in video, but over the past 30 years. This is up there just in looks factor of how that turned out. Really, really beautiful, consistent color throughout the meat. I mean, look at that. In a way, it's got a little bit of a sous vide look where you get that edge-to-edge color with just a little bit of cooking on the outside when you grill it at the end. Oh, look at that. All right, what can I say? It's time to taste. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. Look at that. It is freakishly tender, that flop. Let's see. I've said it before. I've cooked a lot of tri-tip. You've seen me cook a lot of tri-tip. That's the best tri-tip I've ever had. Whoa. The juice factor on this is off the charts. I mean, that makes sense when you're considering this is Wagyu with all that marbling in there, the extra fat, the extra juices are going to be in there. But this is crazy. Now that cook took about 35 minutes to get to 110 degrees. Then we seared it. Then it took another 5 minutes or so to get to 130 degrees, right around 130 degrees. In that time, there's smoke flavor here. That post oak did its job. It's not heavy by any sense, but I can taste it. Okay, just because I made it, I'm gonna try some with that drizzle sauce on it, but then I'm going back to just the regular. Here we go. Horseradish goes great with beef. Balsamic goes great with beef. Those two flavors together do complement this, but look, in all honesty, this doesn't need it. I'm actually a little speechless here. I did not expect it to be this good. I mean, come on. It's Wagyu, I know that. It's going to taste good, but I didn't expect it to be that much above a prime tri-tip. And I've had plenty of prime tri-tip, and I've cooked plenty of prime tri-tip. I've cooked some good tri-tip. I mean, I've done more tri-tip than any other cut, so I know a little bit about cooking tri-tip. This is just fantastic. I don't know that there's ever been a cook where I've eaten the entire tri-tip at the end, but man, this one might come close. It's definitely not an inexpensive cut of meat when you go Wagyu for tri-tip, but I gotta say, if you're looking for a treat, and this is definitely a treat for me, this gives you the kind of meal that you're gonna talk about the next day, the next week, the next month. It's just outstanding. Holy